Hey everybody. Dr. Juliet Fagan here. Just want to take a few minutes to share with you something that I have been compiling since November 2021, entitled What About the Children? What about the children? First of all, I want to ask you to please go ahead and share. Please go ahead and share with all your friends, co workers, church brethren, family members. And also, if you have not subscribed, if you have not subscribed as yet to my channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe. There's a little bell. You hit all on the bell so that you never miss a upload or when I'm going live. From time to time, we know that technology, we know that internet issues and things do happen. You understand? And so I just want to say I thank you so much for your patience and for understanding. So, what about the children is my question. But first of all, let me give a disclaimer. I want you all to know that these teachings are meant for educational purposes only and not intended to be cures for anything. I am not an MD. I am trained and certified in naturopathy. I am a practitioner, consultant, and health educator. I'm also a certified colon care and detox specialist since 2009. As a former nurse of over 20 years with the Georgetown Hospital in Grand Cayman, my birthplace, I am well equipped, knowledgeable, trained, recognized, and I am also board certified in several modalities when it comes to natural health, education, and home remedies. I am also the author, just giving you a little bit of insight about myself. I am also the author of 4 healthy lifestyle books. My top seller is Let Food Be Your Medicine, followed by Irritable Bowel Syndrome. I also have a book called The Benefits of Coconut Water, Coconut Jelly, Coconut Oil, and another one that has to do with menopause, with men understanding women as they're going through menopause. We know that women have menopause, men have andropause. So the books are out there on different platforms and in local, stores. I want to start by saying, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by saying by now, everyone with good sense can see that something is not right with what we were all told in the start of 2020, into 2021, and now into 2022. I'm just asking you one small favor. Be honest to yourself, even if with no one else. In the Bible, Hosea 4 and verse 6 says, My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. I want to make it clear this is not anti anything. The program is called Let's Talk. And we come to let's talk about real issues. Your comments is very important to me. I'd like to get your feedback on this topic. So feel free to leave your comments. Remember, ignorance is no longer an excuse for any of us. Ladies and gentlemen, the pandemic, which entailed lockdowns, isolations, mask wearing, and all of the separations, has done more harm than good to a lot of people mentally and emotionally, especially the youth and the children. It has even drove some, young and old alike. Some young people have decided to drop out of school altogether. You can't get them to go back. Some have even went and found, little jobs, menial tasks they're doing. They're not interested in school. Then some of them was not interested from day one. And because of the length that they were kept out of school, it has made matters worse. Some have even committed suicide because of the pressure of the whole thing. No doubt, it has also harmed the immune system of many, including some of our children, as many studies have shown. With over 2 years behind us, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, since the start of what was carefully planned, orchestrated, and called a pandemic, they are now trying to find the best solution or solutions on how to fix it, how to end it. Can I say this? I won't be surprised if certain things don't become law for the rest of our lives. Studies have come out suggesting that the strict lockdowns, all of the mask wearing for long periods every day, may have actually increased a threat to ours and our children's innate immune system, the natural immune system. You see, the whole idea of the lockdowns was to keep people, we all know, was to keep people isolated and supposedly keep us all safe from germs, viruses, the bacteria, and all the various microbes. Keep us from all of these things that could potentially, they said, could potentially harm us. And sad to say, many, until this day, still believe everything that is thrown at them. So much until this day that many are still living in fear. Yes, you heard me. Some of you know folks who are so fearful. They're afraid to go outside. They're afraid to go to the supermarket. They're afraid to go to church. They're afraid to go here. They're afraid to go there. Afraid to do, anything but to sit by their closed, locked, sealed windows and peep out. When you look around, me as a counselor and a mental health coach also, depression, mental health issues, and loneliness is now showing up in the lives of many persons. But what many studies has shown is that being exposed, I want you to hear me out, guys. Being exposed, this is not talked about. This is not mentioned. What many studies have shown is that being exposed to those same germs, the microbes, the viruses, the bacteria, is what naturally builds and supports our innate or natural immune system, especially in our children who already has a strong immune system. Can I tell you, children are right now safer than most adults would ever know. Without a strong immune system, adults and children, it is at a high risk of not being able to fight off even a minor common cold or flu. If they are constantly being shielded and constantly being bombarded, inoculated with foreign matters, that not even some who are administering these things know exactly what it's all about. I pray that you're listening to me. I pray that I'm challenging your mind. I pray that you're soaking it in. And remember, I want to make it clear. This has nothing to do with anti this or anti that. It's time that we pass that now. And listen, pick out what you want to pick out and leave the rest. Many of you, some of you are nurses yourselves, trained, qualified, well taught, highly educated in different areas in nursing. Some of you are listening, are educators, teachers, some of you are guardians, some of you are parents, some of you are friends. I want to speak to the parents and guardians. I want to ask a question. Are you now helping to weaken and destroy your children's immune system by keeping them too protected, too clean, too covered up, too shielded? Are you now causing more harm than good? I want you to think about these things. Yes, think about the questions that I've just asked. You see, the hygiene hypothesis suggests a direct connection between the lack of natural exposure to germs as a child and the rise of reported allergic conditions and illness into adolescents and adults. How many times you have not seen children that have been shielded at a tender age, as a young age, grow up to be sicky, as we would say, to be sickly. Every little wind blow, they're sick. They're always sneezing, they're always blowing their nose. Some of you have them on the job. Some of you are facing it right now into adulthood. You're sickly. Every little thing, breaks down your immune system and you're sick. So making sure school age children are always clean, always covered up, always masked up, always protected, and always separated may not be, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to accept what I'm saying, but you can think about it. It may not be the best thing after all. Today, our children can't even breathe in fresh air. Yes, you heard me think about fresh air. Think about fresh air. They can't even breathe in fresh air properly as they're being driven into fear and almost smothered at a tender age. Many children are scared almost to death. Is this really healthy for our children mentally? Is this really helpful for them, as far as, socializing with other children? There are children right now that don't even remember how to smile because they are kept from smiling and expressing and seeing one another's facial expression and teeth and little cheeks and all of those things that children normally do. By reducing their exposure, another thing, by reducing their exposure to sunlight, which gives you natural vitamin D, by reducing their exposure to fresh air, to the germs. We always say germs. We know that lately all the big words is microbes and bacteria and viruses and all these things, but we raised up saying germs, which means the same thing. By reducing their exposure to germs and other microbes in the environment. Yes, in the natural environment, by preventing their immune system from gaining the natural fuel they need to fire on all the cylinders and to fight off infections. It is called natural immunity. Yes, natural immunity, not a so-called man-made built-up immunity. God has already equipped and built all of us with the necessary, elements, the necessary things to build up our immune system, to keep our immune system, fighting off infections, to cause those cylinders to keep functioning and working and building up those natural antibodies. Today's kids, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, are being forced to live in a sterile bubble. You heard that before. That they want to have this sterile bubble environment between hand chemical infused sanitizers, constant hand washing. Oh, I want you to hear me out. Washing away the natural protective flora of the skin. hmm this sterile bubble of isolation and wearing of masks for hours. Come on, talk to me. Let's talk. Even animals would run away from such draconian treatments. We are so caught up in keeping them clean and so called sterile. We are forgetting that as kids, as children, they are supposed to be getting dirty. Their hands are supposed to be getting dirty. They are supposed to mingle and smile with each other as part of the growth process. They need to be playing in the dirt. Listen to me, teachers. Listen to me, parents and guardians. Listen to me. Cayman Islands, listen to me. My hometown. I can't speak about another man's country. Let me speak about where I was born and bred. And the rest of you can pick out what you want for your country. Cayman Islands, the children need to be playing in the dirt. They need to be sweating. Is a part of the detoxification mechanism that they have been created with by God. They need to sweat out. This is why when we lock them up and we keep them in air conditions and we shut the windows and we shut all the doors, they do not get to utilize their natural detoxification organs. The largest organ is the skin. They need to be sweating and detoxifying any microbes, any viruses, any bacteria, any germs that might enter their bodies. It is natural to sneeze. It is natural to cough. We were created that way by God. There is certain, little things that has been put in our nostrils and in our as we cough out in the entrance of the lungs and different things. We have been created already by God. And so our children needs to be playing and laughing and simply being children. Right now we are stopping them from they're being withheld from being children. We are forcing them to be into that adult bubble. We are forcing them to be like adults. You understand? We are forcing them to understand adult things, and they're not able to be children. We're robbing them of their childhood. They need to be exposed to the wealth of germs, the microbes, the viruses, and the bacteria. Ladies and gentlemen, do your homework, do your research. I'm telling you, they need to be exposed to these things within their own little world so that their world doesn't eventually turn on them and make them very sick and probably die. I want you to know that real scientists, true scientists, real virologists and microbiologists and bacteriologists, even some MDs know these things. But guess what? It is now being suppressed. It is now being hidden. There is a hidden agenda. Parents, what are you doing to your children? Guardians, what are you doing to your children? Exposure to germs is essential to building a healthy microbiome. I would say it's time that we ask questions. It's time that you ask questions. Ask questions about, some of these things. It's time that you free up the children. It's time that our children, grandchildren, whatever, even if you don't have a child, it is time that the children stop being used as stat fillers. Stop protecting them so much. Give them a chance. When we get a cold or when we get a flu, it is natural for the body to feel a little sick, to lose a little appetite. When we lose that appetite, that is the body shutting down now, that the body can just concentrate on those detoxification organs and start getting stuff out. Years ago, we were taught in nursing and even in alternative medicine, you were taught that not all diarrheas is bad. That is the body getting rid of toxins. That is the body getting rid of viruses and bacteria. The only thing is that you have to be knowledgeable enough to know that you want to keep yourself hydrated or the baby's hydrated, their electrolytes are kept in check and those kind of things. Ask question, think about their little future. We're not getting younger, we're getting older. Are we going to breed or raise up a generation of sicky children that can't work? They can't go to university. They can't go to school because they have a destroyed immune system. You see, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, as I said, this has been compiled since November 2021. You see, part of the reason that we as adults, hear me out, can fight off the cold, the flu, and most viruses, including the ones that is floating around, including the one that is around us today and all the others that they are calling and naming, all the various variants which I spoke about, have prophesied about for the last year and a half. I spoke about things that would happen due to certain things being done and enforced. And today, many of you would have read it or heard me in the church, out of the church. Today, it is being manifested before us. And so I want you to know that the reason many of us can fight off certain things, even if it attack us, even if we get ill a day or two, we are up and good and running again. The reason we can do that is that our immune systems were developed at a tender age and continue to be, looked after. Back then, as children, we constantly played in dirt. We constantly played with one another. We had to sweat. We were sweating and busting sweat and drinking some water and sweating more. Some of you might want to pretend now like you never been there, but we all did. Corona, influenza, all these viruses and others that has not been named yet, they have been around for decades. And guess what? It didn't kill me. It didn't kill you. It didn't kill us. Back then, there was no enforcement of mask wearing 24/7, 7 days a week. Back then, as children, we even if we caught a cold, you didn't even have some of the medication that you have today. That cold or that flu had to run its course. This is what you call building up antibodies naturally. My God, help me, Jesus. You see, from the time we were born, from the time we were born, the exposure to germs helped build, help build up our entire immune system that would evolve into what is now our immune system today. Yes, my friend, keeping the kids in locked up, sterile, muzzled up environment prevents them from having that same advantage, that same opportunity. Locking them at home 24/7 under air condition, giving them a cell phone or a tablet or on a computer or something, is more damaging to them than letting them out. Scaring the children about not wearing a mask is destroying them socially, mentally, and emotionally. We are today breeding a bunch of troubled and antisocial generation. We are breeding a bunch of children and young people that no longer knows what it is to think for themselves, knows what it is to smile. They are living in total fear. The other day, my husband, Leroy, was somewhere and he was somewhere and there was a little girl, couldn't be no more than three or so, between 3 and 5 or whatever. And someone was probably a good distance off. And the person must be held up their rag and just did a sneeze because them themselves was even afraid to sneeze because they would become ostracized and probably attacked. And my husband came home and he said, Leroy came home and he said to me, "Oh my God, I saw something earlier. A little baby girl heard someone sneeze way over there, and that baby started crying and reaching up for the mask. It was terrible." Is this what we're doing to the children today? Listen to me, parents. I hope you're listening. Guardians, teachers, whoever you are. Is this really what we want to do? Breed a bunch of troubled, fearful, antisocial generation? My advice to all of you is to stop destroying the children with fear. Why letting the children explore their world without constantly pushing, all of the hand washing, the isolation, and the mask wearing 24/7? We can begin to get them back on track when it comes to strengthening their immunity. Unless there is a different motive, do we really want a healthy or a sick child? Do we really want a healthy or a sick generation? Don't get me wrong. Wash the hands, isolate, let them wear the mask. But for God's sake, don't drive fear in them. Don't make them believe that something is going to just jump out at them and kill them on the spot. I pray and trust that some of you are hearing me out. Remember, allowing the children to come in contact with these germs helps them build real and safe antibodies, as I said earlier, that is so needed to thrive, fight off bacteria, and remain healthy. We need to allow them to build their own antibodies. We don't need an artificial thing putting them at a tender age as youth, as young people, as teenagers. We don't need that, ladies and gentlemen. What is wrong with them building their own antibodies to fight off things? Are they going to be injected with things for the rest of their lives? God created us, including the children, including our young people, including the teens, with natural mechanisms, as I said earlier, certain fighter cells and organs to wage war against any and all intruders and how to expel them from the body. It seems as if others are bent on destroying and not protecting or building up our children. What about the children? I am so passionate about what I am saying right now. I know you can hear it in my voice. With all of the draconian pandemic measures that is or was put in place to slow the spread of the virus. After 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, it is still going full speed ahead. It is still mutating faster. And I warned, as I said earlier, about these things happening. But only those with a strong natural immune system, can truly say, I have antibodies, can truly say, my immune system is built up. You see, man-made trials and drugs that come with a price, as we all know by now. As we all know by now, those things come with a price. Some will live, many will die, and others will suffer, with no one taking responsibility for the damage or damages. Hundreds of studies are out there. Hundreds of studies are now showing that many of the measures, many of the actions taken are failing to yield any real concrete benefit. Today, the media says one thing, and tomorrow it says something else. Confusion. Furthermore, locking children and teens and even adults up for a long period seem to have harmed many immune systems. People are still getting sick. Some of them are even sicker than they was before. Even the vaccinated who was given such great promises of security and protection are now questioning things. They too are getting sick. I speak to a lot of them. Many of you do too. Today, many are living with deep regrets. Some feels violated. Some feel betrayed. Some feel as if they've been lied to. Some feel as if they've even been used as lab rats. Parents and guardians, wake up. Give yourself and your child or children the opportunity to build natural antibodies. Almighty God has already put what is needed to fight off any and all invaders. We just have to maintain and keep the engines running properly. Have you considered using even natural remedies to fight against germs? Fight against viruses. Have you ever thought about those things? Look at what our foreparents used to do back then. Some of the things that we know today, some of the herbs, some of the remedies that we know today, some of the knowledge we have today, they didn't have it. Did you know that most viruses can't survive even in heat, but thrives in the cold? The sad part is when we try to question any sort of mandated measures that forces us into a lifestyle of physical isolation, sterile bubbles, constant 24/7 mask wearing, and setting up the vaxxed against the unvaxxed and the unvaxxed against the vaxxed. Do you know that when we speak out against these things that we are called, and you're hardly hearing it today anymore, it was so popular at the start of the pandemic. But how often do you hear the word conspiracy theorist? Can you see that even to that is being phased out? Even to that has been simmered down. Yet many aren't following their own rules. I worked as a nurse for over 20 plus years at the Georgetown Hospital, as I said earlier. And I know all about placebo shots. I know all about the placebo. There were times that I had to even, administer placebos post-op so that we can start to wean off the patients off of morphine or, Valium or other hardcore drugs. Like any other medication, like any other drug, those placebo vials of sterile saline was locked in a cupboard, also under two keys. The bottles, the little vials, they had the same look. They had the same, look. But as trained nurses, we knew the difference. Labels had to be read properly, and we had to sign off on everything. Two signatures. That was back in my day as a nurse. Don't know what they're doing today, but no one person was allowed to drop any kind of medication. Even if it was saline, no one person was allowed to do that. Just because we are human beings and there could be an error. How many times have you not heard about errors happening since all of this with certain things? There had to be two signatures. I had to show it to the supervisor or the other nurse, and they had to show it. We had to witness. But that's not what I'm seeing happening today. Sometimes we just have to say the obvious, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm about to come down. Sometimes we just have to say the obvious, and I'm here to say the obvious. People, wake up. Parents, wake up. Teachers, wake up. Nurses, wake up. Everybody under the sound of my voice, wake up. Most, if not all, leaders and health officials, can I say it? Most, I didn't say all, most don't really care one hoot about us or our health. Many have been and still being deceived, while others is all about money, control, and carrying out the globalist agenda. Majority of the world, ladies and gentlemen, is now supporting the pharmaceutical industry and its interests, and also its long-term monetary investments. When was the last time yes, I'm talking to you directly now. When was the last time you heard the media interview anyone with them talking about the value of building up your natural immunity, the benefits of probiotics, the benefits of colon care, turmeric, the benefits of herbs and vitamins, The benefits of turmeric, garlic, which is a natural antibiotic, ginger, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium. The benefits of apple cider vinegar, which I did a teaching on a few weeks ago. The benefits of golden seal, another antibiotic, natural herbal antibiotic, neem, astragalus, black elderberry, echinacea, olive leaf, oregano. The benefits of steam inhalation, the benefits of flushing your system and hydrating your system with water, the benefits of coconut water, the benefits of cane juice, fruits and vegetables, the benefits of even, saunas, hot water baths, all these things. When last, or have you ever heard anybody given the chance to talk about these things? Bottom line, until grown folks take full responsibility for their own health and the health of their children, and our elected leaders and officials and churches, until then, until all of us come to realize that there is a possibility of a good immune system building up natural antibodies, we will always be in circles. Not until all of us stand up and start advocating for better health solutions and healthy lifestyles and habits. Not until we all start questioning, asking questions. Not until you become your own little researcher will it get any better. It will only get worse. Today, as you can see, as you can hear, from adults to teens, now the target is the helpless little ones, the innocent little ones that can't speak for themselves. All they can do is cry. All they can do is tremble. All they can do is shake like a tree shaking its leaf with a heavy breeze. They don't know any better. The target is the helpless little ones that are safer than most adults. The ones whose immune systems don't need to be altered, don't need to be, given anything and, anything added to it. Honestly, I am wondering what will be our future generation. I am wondering what will our future generation look like. Will there be any healthy children? Or we will have a generation of children, of youth, of adults and adolescents that are sick. Every little wind blow, they are sick. Diseases, organ damage. Will they be able to carry on the name of the family? Will they be able to have children? Will their little ovaries, some that is not even developed yet, be stunted? Will our male, sperm count be there? Today you are hearing so much more. Notice we heard about it before, but today you are hearing so much more about the men with erectile dysfunctions. What is happening? Honest to God, as I leave all of you, as I asked in the beginning, that you leave your comments, leave your comments. Have this challenged you? I did my best to stay away from anything that would, cause you to think, well, I am anti this or anti that. No, I am challenging you. Yes, you listening to me. What has happened to your own, your own thought pattern? What is happening to your thinking, your own thinking, your mind? Where is it now? Honestly, and honest to God, I have lost all confidence and even somewhat some respect at this time. I don't trust any of their advice. I don't believe it. I don't buy into it. In God and in God alone, I put my trust. And I ask you this question. What about the children? You tell me. Give me an answer. What about the children? Please go ahead and share. Please subscribe. As I asked you, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell. Hit all on the little bell. And I want to say, may God continue to guide you. May God continue to bless you and your family. May God give you wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. May God continue to open your eyes, your physical eyes, but most of all, your spiritual eyes. May you seek his face. Those of you that are calling on the name of the Lord, may you seek his face for spiritual insight and discernment. And until next time, as the Lord leads me, I will say thanks and goodbye for now. Shalom.